And do you think why do you think this group put their trust in Trump and not Harris?
Maybe his surrogates that he had go to speak to them probably connected with them where it was really needed. That's what I would assume.
How much of a challenge, Val, was it for Vice President Harris to run her own campaign in the span of just a few months?
Yeah.
And also try to carve her own path and create her own identity independent of President Joe Biden, who she served under for almost 4 years?
I think part of the reason why she was able to come out of the gate so quickly when she got to the top of the ticket was because she did work off the Biden apparatus. But when you're in an interview and they're asking you what would you do differently than President Biden, and she says, well, nothing. It's kind of hard to divorce yourself from that at that point.
You're
That
talking
was a
about
big moment.
You're talking about the interview on The View as a Democratic strategist,
Big
and then
moment.
Deanna, I want your thoughts as a Republican strategist on that, because that was perhaps, when we look back on this race, an inflection point a little bit, or at least a flashpoint. When you heard that for the first time, Val, from a tactical perspective, what went through your mind?
Look, there's a way to differentiate yourself without being negative. Nobody was expecting her or wanted her to go negative, but folks are looking for something different. When the mood shifted after President Biden's debate earlier this summer, people were frantically trying to find somebody different. They wanted somebody young, they wanted somebody energetic, they wanted somebody to differentiate themselves from the past 4 years. And again, you get up in that interview, you say, I do everything the exact same. You kind of are ignoring the people who are speaking up to say, hey, listen, I might have a problem here, or maybe this isn't the strongest policy point. You're just kind of saying, oh, well, don't worry about it.
Deanna, from a Republican's perspective, when you heard that, were you fist pumping and saying, okay, yeah, this was an unforced error?
Of course I was. I don't think that it was just that moment, though. There were several moments where she didn't really define herself. She didn't present policy. And so that is really where the struggle came for her, because she had so many opportunities to really, set the platform for herself. And it just, she just couldn't pull it through.
Well, we do have an update from the Secretary of State's office, Gabriel Sterling, saying that he's looking at the total number of votes cast here in Georgia. We have broken a record with over 5.3 million votes, everybody. Hand clap for everybody in Georgia. Everybody came out and voted. 73% of the active voters, they turned out and voted. Another record-breaking number, an indication of how invested people were in this election. Is it an indication of how many more Republicans voted early? Is it an indication, does this, by these numbers, I know Democrats were worried about people staying home, but did they stay home? Did just more Republicans show up?
Something that I was concerned about, I thought that President Trump would only win the Electoral College, but he's on the path to winning the popular vote as well. He's flipped 39 counties throughout the nation. Wow. So that's something that is remarkable in comparison to just 4 years ago, where it appeared that we struggled.